Thank you. Mimi naitwa Jeremy Damaris and saa hii ndio nimefika hapa Seattle. And right now is unajua nikiambia watu wengi hawataamini. Right now is 3:25.
Yeah.
Saa 9, 3:25 a.m. And I have Kenyanjui here. Kenyanjui is the managing director of Willstone Homes. And I know some people have been asking kwa nini sijamleta, because hatukuwa na Kenyanjui. I think wakati mimi nilipatwa na hii maneno, I think we left and went to Pullman, and Kenyanjui was flying back to Kenya. I think it was on Wednesday. Thursday.
On Thursday. Yeah.
So he had to leave us in Pullman ndio akuja apande ndege arudi Kenya. Unfortunately, akirudi ndio sasa mambo ya news, mimi nikaona mambo kwa gazeti, and I had to call him to tell him to cancel. He cannot leave America. Hawezi aenda wakati hizo maneno imetokea, and I told him he had to cancel his flight. Na mimi nitoke Pullman is 6 hours drive. Is actually 7 hours from Pullman ndio niweza kufika hapa upande wa Seattle. Na hata nimefika saa hii na nimesema sitaenda kulala mpaka nimpate hapa, because number one, my objective na my goal for the longest imekuwa interest ya watu wangu wa diaspora. I have never and I will never pigania at Willstone Homes ati niwalinde if at all watanyaganya watu wetu. And Kenyanjui will tell you, before I met him, nilimwambia, Kenyanjui, are you going to deliver to our people? Because mahali nilikuwa nimetoka, I had trusted some few friends and they said they were going to deliver, and then after that wakaanza kusema sababu ya COVID, some misunderstanding with their customers, and personally nilikuja kwa video zangu na nikaambia watu, hawa watu wamekuwa wakora, leave them alone. It's something you can refer from my YouTube channel. And I will never support anybody who scam our people in diaspora. Number one, kwa sababu mimi nimefanya kazi hapa, nimefanya kazi ngumu sana hapa, and I know how our people try to make their end meet. Na ndio nimeambia Kenyanjui, and he can tell you every time nikienda Kenya ninaendaka kwa project zao, even without him knowing. Sure. Not because I want anything, it is because I want to make sure projects za watu wetu wa diaspora zimefuatiliwa. But now I'm here because of you clients, yani watu wale ambao wameinvest na Willstone Homes. Kenyanjui, unajua si kuzuri. Number one is that kuna mambo inaendelea kwa social media.
Yeah, I saw
matusi, mimi nimetusiwa mpaka sasa watoto wangu wananiuliza what is going on, daddy, why are people calling you con man? I mean, I don't even have an answer to tell my kids. And you know for real, nimekuwa nikikuambia Kenyanjui, siwezi taka kujipata kwa mambo kama haya.
Definitely.
Now that it's there, now we'll have to handle it the way it is.
Absolutely.
Number one, kulingana na zile allegation nimesikia, kuna watu wamenyaganywa pesa, na kuna watu manyumba zao hazijajengwa, and we are going to start from that point. Uniambie hizo story umezisikia?
Jeremy, let me say hi to our viewers and our good clients over there. It has not been easy. I think this is the hardest that we've ever been. And like I always promised you right from the beginning, I don't think it's something that would have wished to anybody happen. I confirm, I learned about this news after I got to the airport here, from Pullman, where I left it because I was traveling the following day and I didn't want to bahatisha on time factor. Nifike huku and then asubuhi, and then maybe inconveniences at ndege. We all understand sometimes airports misbehave. But particularly when I learned about that thing, you gave me that call, and you requested whether I would cancel that flight, and I wholeheartedly agreed about that. And nikakwambia it's okay, we have to deal with it. One, we've not scammed anybody. I would not say that, because we've been in this industry for the last 7 years. This is our 8th year, and we have a track record. You know, history defines everything. To some extent, I would say we have clans here, and I know during our visit to tulipatana na wao, some that are living in them, some their families are living in them, others that are making money out of that particular investment they did back at home. So if they say that, I would confidently defend myself and say at least kazi kwa ground, and we've been in the ground for the longest. Addressing on that issue of the newspaper, let me start it from where accusation began at, so that we get to where you want us to pick it up from. My track record has been very straight. Jeremy, you know me, you know me from where I came from.
Mimi nimekujua miaka 4.
Umenijua miaka 4.
Na nimekuta Willstone Homes.
Umenipata miaka.
Lakini kwa gazeti wanasema wewe umeimba watu huko, sijui umetoka kampuni gani. You went with a lot of billions Kenya Njui.
Let me start from I think starting from the school point, so that they understand the sequence of event. One, I schooled I was college. I was schooled in Thika Technical. I did engineering. After Thika Technical, I went to UAP Insurance. I've worked with UAP, I've worked with Jubilee, and later in my insurance journey, I worked latest at ICA Lion. After ICA Lion is when I developed interest in properties, and I joined then Mahiga Homes Company. But I joined Mahiga Homes Company as a salesperson. Not at the capacity of any management role. I joined as a salesperson. The records are there. I have clients who actually live here, even that I sold to houses there. Nikauzia, nilikuwa huko wakiuza Cornerstone 1 that was delivered. Nikauza Cornerstone 3 that was delivered.
Na siku kuona. Ulikuwa unaniona siku hizo?
I used to see you.
So you guys, they handed over how many estates?
Mahiga, I think by the time, I can't recall very well, by the time I was leaving, they had Cornerstone 1, they had Cornerstone 3, they had Rockville, Kamuru, pale ndani, by the time I was leaving, and that is when I left. You understand? That was 2018. 2018 around September, there around is when I left. And immediately I left, that is when we started Willstone Homes.
Ukahema na pesa.
As a salesperson, hauna, as a salesperson ni kama mfanyikazi wa kawaida. Huna access ya bank. Wewe haulipwi na client. Utapotea aje na pesa. I think that allegation, if it came from kina Mahiga, it would have made sense more. They have never accused me of any wrongdoing in that particular company. So accusation from any other quarter, I would nullify them as just mere propaganda, one. And nikama, for instance, let me elaborate it more. You cannot be, you're in high school. You cannot be, for instance, in a certain particular school A and a certain particular school B at the same time. You must be. Because when Mahiga was operational, Banda was operational in the same equivalent way.
So was it the same thing?
No, it was different thing. Because me personally, I was employed by Moshoki and Rohio. So Banda belonged to Kamau then. So you couldn't be in the two at one particular point.
So where hujawai fanya na hiyo?
Mimi sijawahi 100%. Sijawahi fanya. And I know if they would wish to, they would substantiate this allegation.
Hiyo hata sijui hiyo, so I don't want to go to whatever company you are mentioning there. But hiyo ya Mahiga, because I used to help them as my brothers. And I remember when they came here in the US, waliniambia niwasaidie, they're gonna help our people until when they changed. And I remember I told my people, na unakumbuka Kenya Njui nikikuja kwako nikakwambia hawa wameanza kubadilika kabisa. Are you going to do the same?
Actually, I approached you from the first project.
Right.
I remember very well. Then I was selling Willstone Homes, Willstone Estate, iko pale Kamuru. Then is when I approached you. Ukaniambia hapana, wewe enda ujenge. Mimi nikisikia sifa yako nitakuja kuona kenye unafanya, and then I will make my own decision after I do my own due diligence. That is exactly what you told me. And I went on, nikafanya Willstone Estate, nikafanya Gradview, hizo ziko Kamuru, nikafanya Espark 1, na nikafanya Brookview 1. That is when now you came in, nikifanya Espark 2. at Kamuru. And that is where now we began the journey between Willstone and Jeremy Damaris.
Okay, now let's come to the allegation. Tumesikia kuna mtu alikupatia pesa ya Mana residence. Na you guys were supposed to refund him money. After 2 months alikupatia 2 million. Hebu tupatie story, you must know it well.
When I led the newspaper, actually nilishindwa kusoma, to be very honest. Nilishindwa kusoma that particular on Thursday. I think nilisoma hiyo newspaper jana, to be very honest with people. Because the shock was too big on my end, and it's something I never anticipated. One, I wasn't called prior because kuna client ameniuliza hivyo, were you called prior by the newspaper? Nikasema, one, I wasn't called prior. We've been doing tours here. Now, I didn't receive any call or any email concerning any clarification that I needed to do. One. Secondly, on that issue of that particular client, I was told the client paid that money. But in the very first beginning, when we started construction, there was a hitback that we got in that particular estate, and we explained it to most of the clients in that particular estate. So the hitback that we got was there was those who came into the site in the very first beginning. Ukienda site kidogo, in between there was some excavations that were being done at that particular point. So it drew us back and delayed construction right from the beginning. So at that particular point, there are clients that are usually fearful when they don't see something that happens. So at that particular point, the client asked for refund. And the client, because he was sent a schedule of cost, aka object. So when you object schedule of cost, that is when now he did seek some court intervention. The court ikaamua alipwe. And because our agreement says we are supposed to refund money after how it is stipulated in the agreement, we are supposed to refund money after the house is fully sold and paid for. But when now a client says they withdraw, as humans, we also give them some bit of leeway along the way. So we give them a tabulation because we don't have that money cash at that particular point. We can only stretch the payment cycle into 3 or 4 installments. So the client declined that. But when we go into the court, that was what was adopted as per the agreement. So the client was refunded money last year, the last batch, last year March. And the newspaper says that.
So mlikuwa mrudishe pesa ngapi?
I think alikuwa amelipa 2 million minus 10%, which is administrative cost, and then we give the balance.
Okay, so another thing, he Mana residence, and I know most of these people have seen me going to Mana residence. Hata when I was in Kenya, I came to Mana residence. Ilianza kujengwa lini, na hii ni mwaka gani?
Mana residence, this is the 3rd year.
Mulianza lini? Tulifanya groundbreaking lini?
I can't remember clearly when we did that.
That must be in 2021.
No, 2021 was COVID. And we were not there during COVID, tulikuwa Brookview. Was 2020, towards the end of 2022 is when we started it. 2023 is when now we did the groundbreaking. Because COVID ilisha 2022.
So 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025.
Yeah.
Now this is the 4th year.
This is the 3rd year.
No, it can be the 3rd year.
2023. 2024, 2025.
No, I think I was there in 2022.
No, 2022 was COVID, and we were not.
No, 2022 was not COVID.
COVID initially in
2021.
2020. I will check.
I know
the
I
record.
have the video.
Yes,
so
you can check.
We talk from 2022, 2023, 2024. Now this is 2025, and that is where the problem is coming in. Watu wanasema, and of course most of your clients, when you saizi wako na shida sana na wewe, si hata estates zingine, because most of those estates you guys have handled. He Mana resident. Question number 1, who owned this land? Kenya Njui. Because I remember very well, ni wakati nilikuja hapa kwa hii shamba, hata wao wenye wanasoma kwa gazeti, wanasema hiyo shamba haikuwa kwenu. Who owns this land first of all?
Currently, the land is owned by Willstone, but not registered under Willstone.
Why?
This is it. I'll tell you in deeper details. One, when the client was doing due diligence, the land was still under the previous vendor, which was the owner. So apparently, when we finished paying the lad was, we agreed we transfer the lad to that particular lad association management company, which is Mona Residence. You understand? So at that particular point, for details I will not go on camera with, because they are privy to the company. But if somebody would want to know, I would explain to them much better. That particular, we used that because eventually that will be now the lad that will be, Willstone will be transferring that. Who owns Mona Residence? It was myself, Patrick, the director, and the previous vendor at that particular point, because it was a management company formation. So we were all shareholders in that.
So how many directors are you guys?
We are 3 of us.
Okay, why is the other guy not in that?
No, by that particular time, as we operate freely with each other. So by that particular time, and that is why I have obligation to sign everything in that particular company on behalf of everyone. So we needed only 2 to be in the management company formation, and Victor was privy to that.
So why is the title? I asked you for the title because the title I had was that for magic.
And you've called me a bit late. I've tried calling Odanga. I've not received. He has not picked my call. He said Patrick ameniambia atanipigia.
So most of these people, they believe me when I go there, and as I said, hiyo title hata mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa nimemtumia Kenyanjui and nikamuitisha the payments.
Nitakutumia pia payment za shamba.
The way they did. And by that time I was certified that the land belongs to them. And that is why I had told you to bring the title so that niwaonyesha watu. And just in case if you have bought any project there, you have the right to get your own lawyer, do your due diligence, ndio ujue hii shamba ni ya hawa ama si ya hawa. So now, hii Mona Residence of late, kama venye tumesema imekuwa 4 years behind. What is the cause? I mean, when are you going to...
Let's say it's 3 years behind. That lad, we started groundbreaking 2023.
No, 2020 is just another day.
It is 2023. It is not another day.
We'll confirm. But I remember when I was there first time, it was in 2022. That was 2022. I have the videos. So Kenyanjui, 4 years down the line, if a client believed you 4 years back, akakupatia milioni 2, milioni 3, milioni 4, 4 years down the line, what is dragging you behind Kenyanjui?
This is what I'll say. I'm very passionate about that particular estate personally. And that is why in the very, very first beginning, when we got that hurdle, which costed us more money than we anticipated, that was a setback to us as a company. But again, the goal, you see, Jeremy, what happened initially? When we got into that particular rad and we got that particular hurdle, we were not able to ask clients to pay at that particular point because there was no construction that was happening at that particular point. So initially, what happened is after we were done excavating the entire, and I would share videos so that you also put into the picture so that doesn't look like a cooked story. The entire, almost over 30-something houses were suspended with columns at that particular estate. Remember, at this particular point, you cannot add, you're already in agreement with some of the clients. So you cannot add any money on top of what you agreed previously. So what were we left to do? We were only left to do the excavation at our cost.
Lakini wewe na ni engineer, kwani hamukufanya uchunguzi before?
You see, sometimes with rad, it's tricky. You cannot excavate an entire rad when you're doing patches. You do something we call trial pits. Trial pits utachimba moja hapa, urukaruke uchibe ingine hapo, urukaruke uchibe hapo. This was the trick. Then when we did the first trial pits, like 4 of them in that particular area, the rest were okay. But there was an entire section, ukichiba hiyo trial pit ilikuwa inatoa maram. But chini ya maram ilikuwa cotton. Because largely that particular area was dumped into cotton. So even if you do trial pits like 100, you wouldn't have gotten it right from the point go. And that is why we excavated the area, the entire section, that even forced at one particular point, I was taken to the police station because a neighboring estate, wall yao it collapsed. So we were also forced to do reticulation of that perimeter wall so that we are in good terms with those neighbors. I know, and it is in record in Ruiru, because that is where they complained that. When we went back there and did an LC wall to cover up so that we also don't cause damage on that other side.
So because of that cause, that's why you repossessed a lot of houses from that estate?
No, actually,
nimesikia watu wengi sana wamesema you guys repossessed a lot of homes.
Actually, before we got to the repossession part, remember I've told you there's some duration hatukuitisha watu pesa. There's a whole total duration hatukuitisha watu pesa because excavation was still work in progress. And most of the clients would come to the site because one, we do not prevent clients from coming to the site and assessing the construction cycle that is happening. And most of the clients, when they found that pitch, most of them did not progress on paying at that particular point. But when we resumed construction back, we told the clients, now we are back on the site. So would you guys try and regulate your accounts so that now those months that you have not so now repossession in the company is not done
So no, hapo umesema watu mlichibua wengine wakasema wanataka kutoroka na mukazika, then that's when they come, you call them and said, hey, we have fixed.
You know, initially you do not ask for money if the construction is not happening, because there's no purpose as to why this client must be paying. So we did the excavation and we went back to the site and we communicated back to the clients that we have gone back to the site. So what now came after we did that, most of the clients were still struggling with the finances, which it happens. We have had clients that pay very well, but we also have in the system clients who are still struggling with finances, which is not bad at the same time. So at this particular point now, those that used to pay well continued paying. But there is also some other some other class of clients that were not able to catch up with what time they had lost, one, or we had lost as a company in excavation, and secondly, coming back with the payment of the arrears so that we can jumpstart back the construction. So at one particular point, construction, as in the terms of construction vis-a-vis what clients had contributed, we were already ahead of time. Now we called those clients. The company, the agreement between the company and the client instruct two ways. One, before you repossess a house, you have to communicate to that particular client in writing, 21 days in writing. So we sent out demand notices of 21 days at that particular point. So when we sent out a demand notice of 21 days, there are clients who paid at that particular point, but there are some other clients who never paid. This was also a jump-starting system whereby this client were supposed to come back in terms of payment as per it is stipulated, because we had given them like a new fresh start at that particular point. So there are those that were not able to come into, and we gave them another duration of around 6 months at that particular point, having sent them a 21 days notice at that particular point. So later, after around 6 months is when now we sent them another new reminder of another 21 days notice so that we can match what they have contributed vis-a-vis the construction. Then is when now our first lot fell off and asked for refund.
So mtu amewekelea deposit, ameona hawezi endelea, anaitisha pesa.
Tusifiki hata hapo kwa deposit, sababu wao wa deposit hawakusukumwa sana. There is a lot that was between $1 million and 100 shillings. Unapata mtu nyumba yake imejengwa, imepanda, imefanya foundation yote imepanda na imepigwa slab. But at that particular point, who client amelipa only 200,000. That is the first lot we dealt with. Mtu ako below $1 million downward. That is the first lot we dealt with. Tukawambia it's high time, hata shamba yenyewe hawajalipia tuanze na construction. Because initially, you're supposed to do 2 million as a deposit for a bungalow and 3 million as a deposit for measurement. So whoever was below that had not fulfilled their mandate on their end.
So muliwarudishia pesa?
Most of people have been refunded money in that particular project. I will tell you the list right now.
Goja kidogo. So hiyo estate iko na watu wangapi? Hiyo the whole estate.
In total iko na 136 plots.
136 plots.
136, 138 plots.
All sold out?
No, not all sold out. They are available houses.
So list ya hiyo estate ni gani? Because naziona hapa.
Ndio hii.
So kidogo sana. Sasa hawa ni clients.
Yeah, but kuna namba zinaenda zikimiss huko katikati as per venye zinafuatana nyumba.
So hizi ni namba za nyumba.
Hizo namba kutoka number 1 mpaka 130. Houses are 134 because kuna commercial centers zina share plot mbili.
And why am I having 139 here too? I have 139, 138, 137. 130. Are those numbers?
Yes, those are numbers.
For the houses?
For the houses. No, because there are 2 plots that are not allocated to. There are 3 plots actually. 2 for commercials and 3 that are no, and the third one that is biodigester system ya sewerage ya kutransfer the entire sewer to the sewerage.
So in total plots zenye ziko hapo ni ngapi?
In total zenye zinafaa kukua in market nyumba but number wise is 139, but in total projects zenye zimejengwa nyumba zenye zinafaa kujengwa ni 135.
So right now sasa because I see ni kama kila plot iko na nyumba, if these are the numbers ama hawa watu hawajafika 139.
Kuna namba zimeruka huko katikati, sababu hiyo list imefuata namba ya client. Kama number 52 is available haiko hapo, na I think number 53 is available. I think kitu kaa hiyo. So
hawa watu wote ninawaona hapa. I don't know whether it's right to mention them. But of course I can see a number of people.
Absolutely.
How wamestick kwa project ama wengine wameondoka na wanagojea refund?
Mwenye ameondoka na anagojea refund hayuko kwa project, ako kwa refund list.
Hebu nipate hiyo refund list because these people ndio niko na shida nao sana. Wale watu fall out wanasema I don't want to invest with Willstone Homes. Yeah. By the way, what's the reason? How watu wote, because I can see I have like about 86 people. Because this looks like how 86 people, kila mtu kuna mtu amewekelea kitu.
You know, 86 people, it's across the entire projects we've ever had. That's some that are ongoing. Asi mana mana utaona description ya project ya estate. Kuna description ya estate. Who client ali fall out kutoka estate gani particular.
So I see someone here anaitwa Sarah Katu, and of course it's good to mention their names because if kama mko kwenye refund list nyinyi ndio mnadai kampuni ya Willstone Homes pesa.
Yes.
Ya kwamba mmeripa pesa but you don't want to invest anymore. Na ninaona the highest person mwenye you owe money anaitwa Sarah Katu had given 7 million for Willstone Range 1 Court B.
Yenye ilipeano.
Hii mume handover?
Yeah, tusha handover. Si ni yenye tulipeana last year.
The reason ya ku withdraw na amelipa 7 million?
I don't know whether it's right we discuss her here, but ilikuwa issue na finances.
Okay. So how much were you selling the house?
That we were selling the house at I think 13.5 then.
So alifika nusu. So have you refunded the 7 million?
No, hajasema aliadikiwa, alisema anataka nyumba. So it's still in the system. Hataki pesa, anataka nyumba.
Nyumba ya 7 million?
Yeah, unajua alichukua Mashonit in the very first beginning.
Right.
So venye alichukua Mashonit alafu at one particular point anaitishwa pesa hataki kutoa. Then akatumua demand letter ya 21 days. Nimekuambia every repossession must follow the legal route that is there. So akatumiwa na 7 days reminder, hakutoa pesa. So akaforward out. At that particular point she went and fought actually in social media at a certain particular point. Sent the legal representation wake. Venye legal representation wake alikuja kwa ofisi akamwambia yende ako na makosa, ako in default of the agreement. That particular time now we picked it up. Akasema hataki. So tunagojea achague nyumba yenye anataka na ongezee pesa yenye ziko above.
So huyu Madam Sarah Katu, the reason I'm doing this because most of these people they post on Facebook, other post on other platforms. They say these people owe me money, they have to pay me, wamekata na pesa yangu, and I can see on the list that's 7 million. There is another person here called George Nyakundi, 7 million.
Yes.
Huyo naye hamjamjibu,
No, huyo ako schedule ya refund already. Ukiangalia schedule of refund list, I think yake ina fall in the due course of this year.
So nani mumerudishia pesa Kenya?
Watu ni wengi. System...
Because if these people now, the 86 people, yule yako na pesa kidogo hapa, you owe them 80,000. Nancy Wambui Magondu. And I think I will lead this list just in case you hear your name. Ni wengi sana nitawasoma. And if you are on the refund list, ndio ujue whether I got the right list. Because sometimes mimi kama Jeremy Damaris, I don't access the documentation za kampuni. I don't go ati kuitisha nani yako na deni nani, because that's not my business. Mwenye anaona what I advertise, you do your own due diligence. Hata kama mimi nimefanya, ukishindwa mimi sijuangu nimeshindwa. So the ones I'm seeing here on the list,
there are a couple of them that are you check on this side vis-a-vis this side. Depends on when it came to us, because hapa hatuna dates when the refund was supposed to be done from the list, but I can get another list that has dates. So huyo alifall out ikiwa 1.15, balance to date ni 289. You get?
Ili anastahili kulipwa.
Yenye anastahili kulipwa as of now. Huyu alifall akiwa 1.4, balance to date iko 1.2.
Umemlipa tu 200.
It is, you see Jeremy, this is what happens.
So in total right now Kenyanjui, you owe people how much? Yale watu wote uko na deni yao, watu walikuwa wamekuamini wakakuwekelea pesa, now they want their money back. Na ulikuwa umeweka kwa shamba ama kwa nyumba.
This is what I'll say. It is around 100 and something million at this particular point
that you owe people.
That we owe people at this particular point. So refunds are tricky because refunds are scheduled as per date. So today, for instance, ni withdraw leo na niko kwa system. You're given 90 days first, because refund start out the day you say you want your refund, after 90 days, so that we plan on the finances. Remember, we have to balance two things. We have to balance between construction, because every money is paid to the company are sent to the site. So they procured something. So we cannot liquidate that money back immediately. So what we do, we give you a 90 days leeway, and then we start refunding from that particular point. That is why I'm telling you, it's difficult right now to tell you refund, it will fall off system at what particular point.
So let me, like this person here called Paul Mwangi Mwaneki and Sala. Walikuwa wamechukua Seattle Court.
Yes.
I see they had put a deposit of
937.
This is 937,000.
Yeah.
Ini
balance to date ni 268.
So tumewalipa
hiyo ingine.
Mmebaki na hizi pesa.
Yes.
What are they saying? Hawa watu wote mko na pesa zao, what are they saying? Are they some of the people who are posting on social media that
one, I've not seen any of them post at this particular point because I don't think one client ametoka, huo ni client obviously hajafurahia sababu hatujatimiza na ama yeye hajatimiza purpose yake ya kununua hiyo nyumba. You remember everybody who came into the system had a will or a wish in their heart that by the end of the day nitapata hii nyumba. So maybe inconvenience, because a refund to happen or a fallout of the system to happen, there are two things. Maybe client finances hazijaenda the way alikuwa amepanga. At one particular point, maybe pesa alikuwa na expect mahali haikutoka. Secondly, maybe one of the family amepata difficulties in terms of medical health yake or some of the siblings, because these are communications I hear from the office. Alternatively, or maybe change mind. Wana changing mind around the transaction at that particular point. So they fall out. Okay, so kuna mtu mmerudishia pesa yake completely?
Wengi sana. Ya kwamba that
wengi sana.
Anaweza, even though wengi hawaongei. Mtu saizi unapigwa, mtu umemrudishia pesa na umemrudishia yote.
Nilianza kurefund pesa from project 1. Willstone estate.
Okay, where are you going to get this 100 million? Because I see now you have 102 million that you owe people. Na hizi ni pesa wamekupea. Kenyanji, ulipeleka wapi pesa?
Pesa inanunuaga material, pesa inalipanga labor, na pesa inatumikanga kwa projects. Money that I'm paid, that is paid to the company is used to do the company errands. Our transactions are there. If they want to come and audit us, they can see the entire transaction and where money goes.
So how about utawalipaji? How are you going to pay them? How much do you have in I mean, utatoa pesa za hawa watu wapi Kinyanjui?
One, nitatoa pesa wapi? Nitajibu na hii. I'm owed money out there. Money owed to the company.
Watu wako na madeni yako.
Watu wako na madeni yangu. For me, some of these clients that have fallen off and they're in the refund list, their houses are still under transaction. Some are even available. So for me to balance between the two, I have to balance between constructing and refunding money. And that is why I give them schedule of refund. So schedule of refund says that this is the entire balance. We acknowledge we owe you. And most of them have those emails. We acknowledge we owe you this amount of money and we will refund you this money as per tabulated here. There are two things that happen. Sometimes maybe the due date that I'm supposed to pay, there is no enough cash flow in the company. So we push it forward until cash flow are coming back and then we limit it back. And like I've told you, we started refunding money from project one. So we have refunded quite a number, hundreds or thousands of clients that have ever been into the system. Because I will tell you, not only now that people are falling out of the transaction. People will fall out of the transaction because of so many other reasons.
Now, right now, because now already watu wale wamewekeza na wewe, wameona news zimeenda kila pahali. Hey, they are saying, hey, Jeremy, ametu read mahali pa tutanyang'anywa pesa. Maybe more will say, no, Kinyanjui, I won't continue. Nirudishie pesa yangu. Do you think this will bring down Willstone Homes?
Jeremy, I would say the purpose that this paper was written was for causing that panic. Companies that engage in off-plan are usually brought down by such malicious accusation, if I may call them that. Why I'm saying malicious accusation is the intention is usually very clear. This is the strength, so we will finish the strength first, so that now people lack confidence with the company. But I'm very grateful and I want to appreciate the clients that are already in the system. Most clients have called me between yesterday and today. They have given their commitment to still progress with whatever it is that we are doing. We are, like I said in the very, very first beginning, we have a track record. We have not stolen money from anybody. If it's refund, we've given them out. Secondly, and most importantly, construction is still going on at the site. So there is no cause of panic. I told you the other day, we have over 3.2 billion that is already out. So if today I will say I don't have money, I will say the system has money. So eventually these people will get whatever justice they must get. So I don't want to go on record at any given point. And this is something I promised myself, that at any given point, somebody will ever come out openly and aseme Willstone ilininyaganya XYZ. Because even the people that have been put in the newspaper, at huyo client si ni living witness alirifadiwa pesa.
Yes. Okay. Now, right now, in the list ya zile project you guys have handed over, and I've heard you saying that people owe you 3.2. What I'm seeing here is 3.6
billion. I told you about 3.2.
3.6 billion.
Yes.
People owes you.
Yeah.
Now, Willstone Homes, hii company ya Willstone Homes, ndio mulianza.
Hiyo estate ya Willstone Estate.
When did you hand it over?
2018. And
somebody still owe you 149,000?
Yes.
Is it a one customer?
Inakuwaga one or two combined.
Wanasema aje? Wanaishi hiyo nyumba?
Wanaishi. We did some mistakes in the very, very first beginning. The balance was bigger than it is right here. Actually, the last client alinilipa hiyo estate, alinilipa February of this year, is when I got money for an estate I handed over 5 years ago.
Gradview.
Initially, Jeremy, I give you a good narration. Tukimaliza project, client anakujaga anakulilia. Anakuambia, acha niingie hii nyumba, kwenye nilikuwa nalipanga rent, niache kulipa, nikuwe na kulipa hiyo pesa. Client akiingia, story changes. Like when we handed over a Willstone estate, ilikuwa na balance ya around 20 something million. So some clients had moved in. The last client who paid that, then I've told you it's February, had moved in back then. But again, processing yake ya bank loan yake took time at that particular point. So alikuwa every time anasema agojewe. And we have tumewavumilia same as Gradview. We stopped allowing people to move in at Spark 1. Hapo ndio tuliacha kwa allow because mtu akiingia hakulipi Spark aliko
okay,
promise.
Let's go to White Park. White Park, this is in Kangudo Road.
Yes.
What I can see here is you have a balance of 49 million.
Exactly.
And you have handed over this estate.
It is fully complete. People are living in.
So he 49. How now? How is it? How is 49 million? How do people owe you 49 million and now?
They owe me because the system is right. I've told you there's one client. I won't mention her name here because I don't want any other. And plus it is a matter in court as we speak. That alichukua nyumba and then after nyumba zili akasema atajimalizia. So venye alisema atajimalizia watu wake venye akatuma watu crowd wakakuja. I don't know whether it's right to discuss the matter because it is already in court. Wakafanya evaluation and then wakasema hiyo pesa tunataka kudeduct si pesa yenye watatumia. You see, we build standard houses at times. So if client wants something over and above, they have to contribute money for the over and above. Because you build a house by the BQ. You don't build a house by just speculation. So from our BQ, the deduction that we gave them, they were not comfortable with it. They wanted to pay us a lesser money and we declined. Tukaambia it is better we even refund that money and take back the houses.
Okay, now
that
guys,
is why it is there.
The list I have here, I am not sure whether this is the truth because I have the list here. But of course, if you live in this estate that I'm going to mention here, nimesema Willstone, that was handed over in 2018. People still owe Kenyanjui at 149,000, Gradview 124,000, Brookview 1, the one yenye iko hapa
tulipeana title
619,000. Umesema hiyo ni ya mtu kama moja.
Hiyo inakuwaga mtu kama moja ama watu wawili.
Do you talk to them?
Yes, they are called.
Are they watching us?
They are, yeah, definitely yes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely yes.
Brookview 2, Spark 1, 199,000, Spark 2, 1 million, 1.3 million, Havana 1, 455,000. Kuna White Park hiyo tumeongelea kuhusu 49,000. There is this one called Windsor Ridge 1. Hii niko wapi?
Windsor Ridge 1 ni ile A and B.
Hapa Kenyatta.
Zile kubwa, zile site mbili kubwa.
So they owe you 44 million.
Yes.
Na umemaliza estate?
Na nimemaliza, tulipeana last year.
Wako nazo wamelipa, wameingia mabado
sasa nilikataa.
So what will happen at the end of the day?
Jeremy, mtu amekulipa 80%. For instance. Huo mtu huwezi munyaganya nyumba. Hata utake. Because maybe ni finances zake hazikuenda venye alikuwa ameproject. So you keep on encouraging them to still pay you so that you're able to liquidate the money back. You get that? So at that particular point, inakuwaga you are at crossroad. Yeah, do you take the house back? It will give you the burden of refunding this money. So what is the easiest option? Uwavumilie, waendelee kulipa, ndio you get to this particular point.
So watu wenye wako lead salage 1, you owe Kenyanjui 44 million. With this annex, hii tumehandover yet. Tumehandover sindio?
Yes, tumehandover.
9 million. With this arrange 2, 4.9 million. Mana residence. Sasa hii mana residence ndio tulianza na kuongelea.
Kabisa.
You are telling me people owe you 838 million.
Definitely.
This is the list ulisema ya wale wameowe this house.
Kabisa.
Let me see.
But
what I see here is different.
Over there it's 400.
Yes.
This is inclusive ya entire houses even zenye haijaenda.
Okay. So the customers who have bought now,
they owe that. Customers, active customers owe that.
Wenye wanalipa.
Exactly.
They owe 425 million. 425 million. And of course, without even mentioning the names in full, I can see someone owe you 3.9 million. But of course, kuna watu wamelipa sana.
I have like 5 clients.
Kama Dorothy Karemi.
I have like 5 or 10 clients that have finished paying.
Dorothy Karemi has a balance of only 595,000.
Yes.
Lakini kuna wengine hapa kama wengi sitawataja. Somebody here owe you 6 million.
Yes.
Of course, because I know it's good to mention the name sometimes, lakini sita mention zote ndio wewe ujiulize whether I have the right.
Maybe we will open another can of worms in terms of them suing us.
As much as what is happening around there, kuna mtu kama Kennedy,
mention majina zote.
Kennedy akona 2 million, kuna mwingine hapa akona 12 million anaitwa Dolcas, owe you 12 million. Kuna mwingine hapa anaitwa Shadrack ana owe you 13 million, right? Kuna mwingine hapa anaitwa Kahono 9 million. Kuna mwingine hapa, I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to look the big figures, kuna mwingine hapa owe you 10 million anaitwa Kabingu. Somebody else here owe you another 10 million anaitwa Maruti. Another one here owe you 6 million anaitwa Mwangi. Kuna mwingine hapa anaitwa Joel owe you 7 million. Mwingine hapa anaitwa Nellis 5 million. I mean, I'm just mentioning the first names. Sasa ukitaka kusema nimekuweka sikujui, by the way. I'm just reading the list, not unless ameikuku. But me, this is what I have right now from the system. I have Jacinta ambaye akona balance ya 12 million. I don't know what these people are saying. And of course kuna wengine hawana balance kama mtu anaitwa Mukundi akona only 600,000. Amelipa hizo pesa zingine zote. Somebody else like Waitweka owe you 599,000. Another person here owe you only 300,000. Anaitwa Richard. So now, I mean, what are you gonna do?
It's easy. There's no cause of panic because more monies are out. You see, it would be led a rat if these figures were not tallying on the ground. I always tell people, I sell a buffet project. I sell you land and I sell you the house combined. So if more monies are already out, not in the company, it means there's still life in that particular project. We sat down, we had a very lengthy conversation on Zoom today with my other partners, the 2 of them. And we said, you echoed that yesterday, Kenyanjui, finish this project. Mwenye hata kuwa amekulipa by the time you're finishing, let us resonate with them at that particular point. That is exactly what we are embarking to do from Monday. I will mobilize our resources back there. The entire capacity. I have a good cash flow system to support that at this particular point. So I will do whatever it is that I need to do. And I'm pretty sure in the next few months, I'll give them a handover date, fully complete house. And now we sit back again and say, if you have this balance clear, at that particular point, you will see what it is that I've been telling you about.
Like last time I was in Batian, Bungaros, we handed over this.
We handed over that.
People owe you 26 million.
Yes.
Okay. Are there issues in the estate? Why do people keep money? I mean, are there issues, pending issues yenye labda mtu ali expect high quality toilets alafu mnaweka tu za pesa nane?
People do not hold money. Jeremy, people do not have money at times. You know, I'm a living witness because I get these calls right from the clients themselves. Si watu wana hold pesa, ni watu wanakazana kulipa na hana pesa. But again, like I told you hapo katikati, huyu client huwezi mfukuza, huwezi uzia tu watu saa zote wako na pesa. You have had testimonies of people say during handovers, mimi sikuwahi believe naweza pata nyumba within Nairobi, but they know homeowners in Nairobi. Hawa watu ni kujiamini, walijiamini right from the beginning, and that is where they got that particular asset.
So kuna mama mmoja amenipigia simu, and I don't know whether these people knows how they have caused tension among our people. Mama ako Canada ameniambia, Jeremy, I had invested 6 million with Kenyanjui. Saizi my blood pressure imepanda. Wakati nimesikia news mtu anaongea kwa mitambo, anaongea haogopi, hajui what will happen to the people who have invested. I know mtu akifikiria anasaidia, anafanya watu wengi sana wagonjeke. Shukari imepanda hapa America, Uraya, UK, people who have put money in your company, they are worried. What do you have to tell them, Kenyanjui? Are we going to trust you anymore?
100%.
Jina yangu mimi mwenyewe Kenyanjui iko hapo.
100%. Jeremy, if I had bad intention of swindling money from these clients, so far we've done a total of over 10 point something billion worth project. Kama nilikuwa niibia hao watu, sigefikisha hata 10 billion. Ningewaibia at 3 billion, 2 billion na niende. At this particular point where everybody knows Kenyanjui, I risk too much, even my own life. At this particular point, hakuna mtu atakupatia milioni 18 alafu akuache you roam around Nairobi freely. Those days are long gone. Right now we have to do what we must do. And let me tell you, Jeremy, if only I wish, and I'm very apologetic to my clients, one, for the pain that have been caused by whatever it is that is happening. Secondly, for the trauma that they have been put through by these allegations. Like, I've substantiated them. I've never been involved in such. But again, we are here where we are right now. Let me ask you a good question. I have clients in those particular projects zenye nimepeana wanaishi, and I've seen them post in social media, I'm a proud homeowner by Willstone Homes. Why did they not feature those particular people? Why did they not come to us and seek for clarification? I saw them, I put for them a whole screen. I show them what particularly that is the real picture on the ground is. They see where our finances levels are, so that by the time they are going to put that particular thing on paper, they are quite sure this is what that.
So in case of anything, does Willstone have money to finish the project?
Willstone has money, a lot of. I will say
now counting the debt now, that if anything happens.
Willstone has money because clients are still paying money. Clients are still paying money. I will not say that Willstone doesn't have money. Clients are still paying money because we are on contractual engagement with them. There are clients that are already behind in terms of payment. They still want to catch up with the payment. So we have enough to even put the construction already on high gear.
So where are the other directors? Because now what we are seeing is you, Kenyanjui. They're saying you are the owner of Willstone Homes. I mean, I know the directors personally, but I just
You've met them.
I've met them. But now these people are being told you own, you are in other companies, and your company mumeleta mwingine alikuwa CEO wa kampuni ambazo zimenyegenya watu. I mean, can you clarify that before we end this interview?
I want to say, they say I'm the owner, but in the same newspaper, they acknowledge Patrick and they acknowledge Victor. You cannot say I'm the owner
and they said again you're in fight.
We are not in fight. We explained whatever was happening last year and last year but one, and that those things ended up. And we even made a communication over the same. In business, people disagree, and which is very normal. Jeremy, let me ask you in line with whatever it is that we are doing. A good example of a trade that I know happened. How many people go to Mombasa, pick cars, they are unable to pay, but those auctioneers come and pick the cars back. Now, and you lose your money. We've not gotten there. We've refunded people money. So they have no moral obligation at any given point to say the company has done anybody injustice. It is not even the client complaining, because if it was a single client amesema mimi nililipa hii ndio proof na sikupata pesa zangu, we could be talking of something else.
So a quick one, because I see some people, you owe some people a little money, like 80,000, 100,000. Why don't you first of all solve these issues? These are small money.
Jeremy, a trick comes in. Remember, refund is put per what the client paid. That is what is put on a refund schedule. My offer letter says, if you deposit money, I'm supposed to withhold money because I'm not doing money laundering. Are you getting that? Umeniekea 500,000 na unaitaka ikiwa 500,000. I've gone expense, umepelekwa site, maybe we fueled the car, we have involved a legal representation on that particular transaction. There's office overheads that we have to pay for it. And then my offer letter says I'm supposed to deduct you a certain percentage. But some clients do not want to hear of that. Tell me, even banks, you go deposit money, when you want it back, they will deduct you. It is across the all platform and all business operations. Why is it now a problem when Willstone agrees to deduct money as per what was on the paperwork?
But see, watu wa diaspora wataki kunyaganywa, wanataka kama nimekupatia 100,000, refund my 100,000.
But you see, I've gone an extra expense, even me. I've gone an extra expense, even myself. Now let me also give you another scenario. Client amewekelea 100,000. Amekaa before to make decision 3 or 6 months. Haja make decision. The 7th month anakuambia sitaki nyumba, nataka 100,000. Umerock hiyo nyumba, prevent all the potential clients wenye wamepelekwa. And you know our sites are very active every day. There are clients that are being taken to the site to see. Every client who goes to buy from Willstone must go through all our project to see what we've done before they go by what we are doing. Huyo client utamrudishia pesa na ukose kumkata aje.
So now
we are also regulated not to do money laundering. And we are compliant to taxations in Kenya. So those are some of the agreements that we have to act on.
Who is fighting you?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. It got me by a shocker. We've been with you here for the last 2 weeks. Let me maybe elaborate it much further. Jeremy, every time I travel out of that country, Kenya, our beloved Kenya, I'm fought. It is not the first time I'm fought. I went to UK, they fought me. I went to Germany, they fought me. I came here to US my first time, they fought me. Now they are fighting me. Why? Who is this that I did stepped on that anakuaga na uchugu na mimi hivi yenye sielewangwi? If it is industry fights, why can't they just appreciate we are doing business the right way? Ama who is this that we scare so much with our growth that they are not able to comprehend it in their mind? Ni nani huyu nilikosea hata ni muapologizie mimi?
So what are we expecting now, from now onwards? Because now in social media, kila pahali, TikTok, kuna Willstone Homes, Wakora, Wezi, Jeremy Damares, Conman. I mean, me personally, makosa yangu ni gani?
I feel for you. You know, you start by the truth. You have represented the diaspora people in the company in amazing way. Jeremy, you even pay your flights to be in Kenya and see on their behalf. Sometimes hata mimi na niko kwa hiyo kampuni naonaga video yako online. You understand? I do not understand why they are even vindicating you with our company. You are just an ambassador to the company. Nothing beyond that particular way. And I've even told clients before on the camera, Jeremy, I personally cannot be in a position, I cannot be able to pay you for the job that you do for the clients and the company as well, because you will present two people. You will present the clients first and the company at the same time. Right now, I'm very sorry that you've been taken to that particular route. It is a route also that I'm not familiar with, kabisa, because I never saw this coming. Actually, like we told them, I cancelled my flight last minute. Allegations zingekuwa ametoroka diaspora venye ameona hii article. I've been in this hotel, I've met clients here, more than 50 clients have come to see me here in this particular hotel. We've talked, we've resonated, they have assured me of their support, and right now what I would ask for them, whomever is still under contract, let them pay. We have no intention to take anybody's money anywhere.
Thank you.
Jeremy, lastly, we are as transparent as we are supposed to be. One, we do not take money. I cannot even approve myself any money in that particular company. Every director is at the payroll. So we do not take money the way we want. We are 3 of us, and every money must be signed by the 3 of us. And not every time that we agree on issues, but we give priorities on what is on the table. We are advised. Sometimes we even, I've been here, I do not know what the plans they have with construction, but I keep on approving money. Every day you're approving money to go to the construction, because there is a construction team that takes care of expenses, and there's also an accountant that must protect the interest of the company and the interest of the money that the company has.
Thank you. I will stop there. And of course, if you have any question, kama wewe umenyaganywa nyumba, I put my number there, 205-720-4397. Just talk to me. Niambie, Jeremy, kumeenda hivi, Kenyanjui ameninyaganya nyumba, and I'll be able to follow up where I can. Mimi kama umenyaganywa pesa na sijui, I can't tell. I don't know. But since he's here and I know I'm able to get him, please let me know. Wale wengine wanaleta vita zingine, kama nimeona kuna mtu mwingine amenitusi, ameniambia nilimuibia pesa, nitakufa vibaya. It is okay. Mimi sijachukua pesa ya mtu. I don't receive money on behalf of any company, not even a single day. I don't even have the account numbers. I only tell people of what I see happening in Kenya, kitu mzuri. Hata wale wengine walianguka, akina Mahiga. And if they are here, I'll tell them to their face, na niliwaambia to their face even then, that they will pay this. They will pay this. Kama wamechukua pesa ya wananchi, ya watu wetu wa diaspora, kwa wizi, they will pay it in due time. And I'm committed to make sure that our people will never lose. Mimi sijali nikituswa, nikitusiwa. I don't worry nikiwekwa mahali ninawekwa, but at least I'll make sure. Nimetoka Spokane just to come and see Kenyanjui. Cancel dege dia kuja hapa. If you want to ask him any question, wale watu wa Amerika wanasemekana di wamenyaganywa nyumba. Wale wanasema hata hawajaifika Amerika, hata wajui Amerika iko pande gani, iko juu ama iko chini. Kenyanjui is right here. Mkuteni hapa kwa Hilton Hotel. Inaitwa aje? Holiday Inn. He is here and you come here. Kama amekunyaganya nyumba, kuja na hiyo mabana, museme amewanyaganya. Tutamweka ndani hapa Amerika. Ama namna gani? Utafugwa hapa Amerika, hata Abu Dadi ya bado amefugwa hapa. So what we are saying is, please guys, let's stop preaching propagandas. Let's sit down, muongee na Kenyanjui, musikizane, because mkiuzua uoga and you withhold your money, definitely the enemy of progress will be happy at last. Anasema tulisema wataanguka, wameanguka. Lakini mkikaa chini kama venye I have all these documents, the balances and everything. I mean, if you have any question, reach out to me. Kama umenyaganywa, nifikie. Mimi nitajaribu kufikia Kenyanjui, nijue what is happening. And not once or twice nimeenda hata kwa nyumba za watu, mtu ananiambia Jeremy, enda uniangalie nyumba. Hii Mana Residence nimeenda mara ngapi, na nimeambia Kenyanjui, you have to finish Mana Residence. I don't know where you are going to get money. And as I said, hata ukimaliza uimalizike yote ishe, you'll get clients to sell. Probably you'll sell it at a higher price. But you have to protect my name, our diaspora dignity, and of course, your name as well.
Sure.
Mimi naitwa Jeremy Damaris. Thank you very much.